Okay, so the next topic which we are going to discuss is OSPF LSA types. Until now we have seen that how OSPF works, what are different types of OSPF, what are different types of OSPF routers, internal backbone router. So today we will see what are LSA types. I consider here that you have the basic understanding of OSPF already from our previous lectures. So OSPF, basically we have LSA type 1, LSA type 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 we don't use much, and then we have LSA type 7. When we do show IP route OSPF, then from the routing table what we see is LSA type 1 and 2, and they are denoted by O. O means OSPF. LSA 3 and 4 are denoted in OSPF routing table as OSPF inter-area routes. LSA type 5 is denoted by OSPF external type. Then LSA type 7 is OSPF NSSA type. So we will discuss what is inter-area. We have discussed already what are normal inter-area, intra-area routes. But in the next we will see what are external and what are NSSA routes. So external has further two types like external type 1 and external type 2. One has internal cost, one does not count the internal cost. We will discuss in detail later on. And then we have NSSA type 1 and NSSA type 2 as well in the routing table. So basically we have these 7 types of LSAs which are very critical when you go for an interview of OSPF, when you study OSPF in detail, or when you do the Wireshark analysis. So we will discuss all of these LSAs one by one. Okay, so let's discuss these LSA type one by one with a simple topology. Let me draw the topology. So basically we have 3 areas. And then we have area 1. The central one we will call as area 0. Then we have area 1, area 2. We have the routers. These are the internal routers. So I'll pause the video until I draw the whole diagram. Okay, I have drawn this simple topology to show you the LSA's types. So the first type of LSA is called LSA1. LSA1 is the router LSA. When we turn on a router and enable OSPF on it, then each of the router generates LSA type 1. So irrespective of being ASBR, ABR, whatever, DR, BDR, so every router generates LSA1. Let's say we have turned on all the routers and this is the OSPF domain, and I have also created an external BGP domain. So this is BGP AS2, and there are some external routes to give you an introduction on how the external routes are imported into the OSPF domain. So let's say we have turned on, let's go one by one into all of the LSAs. So LSA1, let's say we have turned on the topology, router 1 will generate LSA1 and send the LSA1 to R2. Similarly, R2 will generate LSA1 and send to R1. R2 generates LSA2 towards R3. R3 also generates on all of its interfaces R4, R5, similarly until here, and then the OSPF domain finishes here. So basically we have 3 areas, area 0 which is called the backbone area as well, area 1 and area 2. This is LSA1. LSA1 basically contains all the networks. For example, let's say we have a loop back here which is 1.1.1. So LSA1 from R1 will contain one network, and it will say that the advertising router is router 1. Similarly, R2 will generate for all the networks one LSA1. If it has 3 loopbacks in this area, then it will generate 3 times LSA1. LSA1 is very simple, and that's all about it. Now there are LSA1 we have covered. Now there is LSA2 which is related to DR and BDR, that topology. We will discuss it later on. Let's park it for a while. Then we go LSA3 and LSA5. LSA3 is generated by each ABR. You know, between areas we have border routers which are called area bound border router, ABR. Let's say R2 is ABR, R4 is also an ABR, and R6 is called autonomous system border router. LSA3 is generated by ABR only towards all the routers. So this is LSA3. What will this LSA3 contain? LSA3 will contain all the networks, all the information about the other area which it has received. Similarly, it will generate an LSA3 towards area 0. This ABR will generate an LSA3 towards area 1. R4 ABR will also generate an LSA3 towards it, which contains all the networks. So in this way, the boundary routers, you know, the border routers which know the information, because border router you can see it's half here and half on the other side. Similarly this one. So it knows the information on this side and the other side as well. LSA type 1 and LSA type 2 stay within the area. So if an LSA1 is generated inside area 1, it will never cross the boundary. If an LSA1 generated these black ones, if they are generated by one router, they will never cross the area. But LSA3 are called inter-area LSAs as well. So this is also very simple, which is called LSA type 3 and are generated by the ABR. Then there is another type which is called LSA type 4. So LSA type 4 is also generated by the ABRs, and what does this tell? It doesn't tell about the networks. It simply tells, this is LSA type 4. LSA type 4 simply tells that what is the IP address of the ASBR. So there is one ASBR in the OSPF which is connecting to, in this topology I am talking. So this is connecting to another domain. So this will tell LSA4, if you go into the Wireshark capture, you will see that there is an IP address, nothing else other than that. So if the IP address or the router ID of R6 is 6.6.6, that's 32, let's say. So this LSA4 will say that the router ID of our ASBR is 6.6.6, and when you see, it will tell us that who is the advertising router. If you go into the show IP OSPF database, you will see this one, that the ID is this one. It means the IP address of the ASBR is this, and the advertising router is basically your ABR, which is R2. Similarly here, there will be one LSA4 generated on this side. Another important point to consider here, to understand here, is that there is a main difference between LSA type 3 and LSA type 4. LSA type 3 is generated in both directions, you can say, by each ABR, in all directions wherever this boundary router is connecting all the areas. But LSA4 is generated away from the ASBR. So this ABR will never generate a type 4 towards here. This will never generate a type 4 towards here. It will always generate the LSA type 4 away from the ASBR. Away from the ASBR. So if this topology continues, then it will go like that. And if there is an area in here as well, so, and if there is an ABR here, then this will generate in this direction. If there is another area, because this is the central backbone area, all areas will connect to here unless we have some virtual links. So this is the main difference between area 3, LSA type 3 and LSA type 4. I hope you understood, and I have tried whatever simple it was possible. So we have covered LSA type 4, which is generated by the ABR and away from the ASBR, and what it contains the IP address of our ASBR. This is type 4 LSA. Now let's move to type 5 LSA. This is also very important. Type 5 LSA basically is generated by the ASBR about all the external routes. So when we do that redistribution here on this router number 6, because this is the autonomous system boundary router, these two sample external routes, there is a BGP connection between R6 and R7. I have established the session as well. If you can download this same topology So it is 100% same as what I am explaining here. It is 100% same which I am giving in the description, the GNS3 topology. So you can do all the experiments over there as well. And so these external routes will be imported into the OSPF domain, into the OSPF autonomous system, into the OSPF areas, and these routes will appear as LSA type 5. Another main difference between LSA type 3 and 4 and 5 is, and this is also very important point, LSA type 3 is generated by ABR in both direction, and when you go on router number 5 and then you do show IP route or you do the show IP OSPF database, then you will see that the originating router will be your ABR. So all the LSAs which have reached to R1 will be generated by ABR, whether it's type 1, type 3, type 4. But type 5 is a special type of LSA which will be generated directly by the ASBR. So when you go here, you do show IP OSPF database, you will see that the advertising router is this router directly. So this is the main difference between type 5 LSA and type 3 and 4 LSA, because they are generated directly by the ASBR. So ASBR will also send these routes to DR, ASBR will send these routes to this one, and to this one as well. And what these LSAs will contain, they will contain the external routes. So they will tell us how to reach to those external routes. These are different type of LSAs which we have discussed, and then after these we have another type of LSA which is called LSA type 7, and this is a special type and we need another type of topology for this one. So let me go back to LSA type 2, which I have parked for a while because it was different. We need to clear our basic understanding about the basic LSA types. DRBDR is a special type. For this one, let me draw a topology. Let's say this is a router. Let me clear it. Let's say this is a router and then it is connecting to a multi-access segment, non-broadcast, multi-accessed or broadcast, whatever, but it should not be point to point. So this one has router number 1, router number 2 and another router number 3. Let's say these are router number 11, router 12 and router number 13, and this is our switch which is connecting these routers. So this is a special type of connection. It's not point to point, it's broadcast type or NBMA type. Then on this type of network, you know that we have to select a router as DR. We have seen already in the previous lectures that the router with the highest router ID or manually configured ID will become the DRs. Let's say this is our DR. So this special type of LSA type 2 is generated by the DR towards all other routers. So it will also come through, the switch. All the routers send their LSA1 to the DR. So let's say R2, it will send to the DR LSA1, router 11 will send, router 12 will send LSA type 1, which we denoted as black. But in response, our DR will send them LSA type 2. So this is a special type of LSA which has no connection with 1, 3, 4, 5 and 7. So that's why we parked it for a while and then now we clarified. So you should start with LSA number 1, then go to LSA 3, 4, 5 and then you can move back to LSA 2, or maybe you can start with LSA 2. So this is the basic introduction of our LSA types, and I am giving the link in description to download the GNS3 and packet tracer topology. You can download from there and have some practice. If you find something and you have some questions about the topology, about the LSA types, then you can write in the comment section. Okay, so before going to the next type of LSA, which is type 7 LSA, we have to revise our area types which we discussed previously, OSPF areas. We have normal areas, we have our stub areas, we have our totally stub areas, then we have our NSSA. I gave a brief introduction on these ones in our previous lecture. Normal areas. Now we will discuss from LSA point of view. So normal areas, these are all normal areas. So which type of LSAs do we see? We see LSA type 1, we see LSA type 2, we see LSA type 3, 4, and also these LSA type 5 as well. So it means normal areas, they have LSA type 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Basically all types of LSA except LSA type 7, which we are going to discuss after this one. Then we have stub area. To explain stub area, let me make an ABR here. Let's say this is also our boundary router. We name it as R8. Then we have an internal router which is called R9. We have another router which is called ASBR, which is again going to the BGP, which is 888 and .8. So this type of area is basically this is on the boundary. So this type of area is called the stub area. If we don't have the ASBR, this is the stub area. Inside stub area, we have different type of LSAs and the LSA type 1, 2, 3 only. There is no external LSA and there is no LSA type 4 and 5 both. These two types are So these are replaced by a default route. So any router which is inside the stub area which has to reach any other router, any other destination, we have only a default route which it can reach to the ABR, and after ABR it will route further. Then we have the stub areas, totally stub areas. Totally stub means it will further reduce the ability and will further reduce the size of the table. Basically, why we need these stub and totally stub areas? We need them because when we have some areas which do not have to pass through the traffic further and the capacity of the routers are very small. So for these type of areas, we don't need all of the routers, all of the routes, all of the external routes to rush into these routers and exhaust their routing tables, because these are low capacity routers, and also it is an optimized design to have stub areas where we don't have a lot of traffic. So for these ones we create stub area. Stub area does what? In stub area there is no external route. So these red color of routes, they will never come through to a stub area. That's why you see that we don't have LSA type 5 here. So in place of LSA type 5, we basically have swapped it with OSPF default route, inter-area default route. So anything which it has to reach other than these ones, but it will have the routes of how to reach R4, how to reach R2 for the stub area. But for totally stub, even these routers, they don't know how to reach these routers. It only has one default route which can bring it to the ABR, and then ABR will further route it towards. But it will have the internal routes. If we have a multi-access segment here, it will have the DR, and from DR it will have the LSA type 2. Then all of these, they will also exchange with each other LSA type 1. So only LSA type 1, I am talking about totally stub area. LSA type 1, LSA type 2, and again a default route for everything else. These routers, they don't know. Now we come to our topic, back to our topic, LSA type 7. LSA type 7 basically is relevant to not so stubby area. Not so stubby area means basically, let's say we have another ASBR similarly. Let's say we have an ASBR here which is connecting, this is ASBR. This ASBR is connecting us to the outer world again, and these routes are being transited, these routes are being imported, and we need to do the redistribution here, and we need to export some routes as well to the external domain. We have BGP, we can have RIP, we can have static route, whatever we have, but these are some external routes which are being imported into the NSSA. So NSSA means, you can see from the name, normal area, we have everything and we can cross, we can transit and go to the next areas. Stub areas, they don't allow us to go. So if there is another destination here or that side, so stub area will never allow us this type of connection. Totally stub also does not allow us this type of connection. It does not allow us a connection to go to the external one. So it means there is no transit. But we have a type, another type which is flexible, we can transit through. This is a stub area, but this is not so stub. So you can see from the name that it is a stub, but we can still pass through, we can still transit. What is the main quality, what is the main characteristic of a stub area? Stub means you cannot pass through it, you cannot transit, you cannot go further. But not so stub means that there is a flexibility a little bit more, that you can still pass through, and it's also a stub area. So in stub area, when these external routes are imported into the area, they appear as type 7 LSA, which are called NSSA. That's why this concept is a little bit deep, and I want it to be in the end. So these will appear here LSA type 7. So for this area it's good. But what about these areas? When these external routes, how will router 2 reach to this router 18 somewhere through BGP? Because they don't know, they don't recognize type 7 LSA, NSSA. So for them to understand what we do, this ABR has a special responsibility that when these routers, these type 7 LSA will cross this ABR and go into normal or backbone area, then these are converted into type 5 LSA. And of course, all of these, they understand type 5 LSA, but just try to understand that these type 5 LSA are different from these red ones. This type 5 means they will reach through this transit area. So you can see this is a stub area. In previous lecture we discussed the stub in detail. Stub means you cannot transit, but this is a special type of stub, not so stub, that this router can still reach to the external world through this stub area. They can still reach through normal areas, but stub they were not allowed previously, but this NSSA type, it allows us to pass through. So this is the concept of type 7 LSA. When they reach our internal ABR, they are converted to type 5 so that all other routers can reach to that side as well. So this is basically the summary. Also another point, important point, when you go here, you see show IP OSPF topology, you will see show IP OSPF database, sorry, you will see type 7 LSA. But when you come on the ABR and you show IP OSPF database, then you will see both type. Type 7, it will say the advertising router is this ASBR. Type 5, it will say the advertising router is ABR, this one. So this is the main difference between ABR for NSSA and an internal router for NSSA. I hope you understand. If you have any questions, you can write into the comments as well.
I have also prepared the GNS3 topology, and the download link is given into the description. So, but you have to make sure that you use the same version of GNS3 to avoid any type of issue. So this is the GNS3 version which I am using, 2.121. This is the latest one, I guess, at the moment. And the images which I am using is 15.2. So you can use this topology and you can go to different routers. You can go through the links. So here, for example, it's the same topology which I have explained. We have an ABR, we have another area boundary router, we have the ASBR, then there is another ABR I forgot to mention here. So this is basically the ABR. Then we have another ASBR to practice the NSSA. So this type of area you must practice for NSSA. This is area 0, the backbone, area 1, area 2. So to practice the NSSA, this is an external domain. It will redistribute the routes into here, this ASBR, this is the redistribution. So here they will appear as type 7, and when they cross the area they will appear as type 5. And then you can also practice the type 5 LSAs, which will be generated by the ASBR to everyone directly. Then there will be type 3 LSAs generated by the ABRs. Then there will be LSA type 1. There is also a small topology I have created on this side to practice the LSA type 2. So because LSA type 2 is a bit different. So this is the whole topology. Let me give you a brief. So you can go to router number R1. I would suggest that you do all the practice on router number 1 and see the LSAs except the NSSA. So here you can go and you can check which type of LSAs show IP OSPF neighbor, and then you can see we have one active neighbor because I haven't turned on the routers. Otherwise they make a lot of noise. So, but if anybody is interested, I can show this topology. I can give an overview again. but best is to watch the video and then do the practice yourself in GNS3. You can also do the same thing in Packet Tracer as well. So here you can see that go to show IP OSPF database. Here you can see how many types of LSAs do we have already. So you can see that we have type 1 LSA which is coming directly from this ABR but not as an ABR. We have two LSAs, and the advertising router is router number 1 and the second is being generated. So what does it mean? It means basically that this router being a normal internal area router, it generates an ABR. Same type 1 is generated from here, but this router is an ABR as well. It has two area connections into two different areas, area 0 and 1. So it also generates type 3 LSAs. So here you can see the advertising router is router number 2, this router. So this LSA, it means that this router is generating this LSA 2323, this network, towards the internal router. So it is telling basically that I have this type of network. So in this way you can study. It's very easy and very straightforward. After watching the video you should not have any issues, I guess. If you face any issues you can talk to me. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, any suggestions, you can write in the comment section below.